Europe's most beautiful and historical cities, Budapest plays host to round 6 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. Hungary's capital attracts over 20 million visitors per year and is proud of its 4 World Heritage sites. A truly welcoming, friendly and spirited city with a cultural history spanning 1,000 years. The Pearl of the Danube has hosted the air race since 2003 with its own unique course and has played a key role in the development of our sport. The 6th round of the 2008 championship promises to be yet another Hungarian classic. Well, a national holiday here in Budapest has drawn a huge crowd, the biggest so far this season, with over 600,000 spectators lining the banks of the River Danube. And this is the championship after 5 rounds, with Paul Bonhomme just 2 points ahead of Kirby Chambliss and Hannes Ark. Mike Mangold is 8 points adrift as the defending champion. Most of the spectators have come to see Peter Begenet in action. Once again joining us in the commentary box is former air race pilot, a man who's raced here 5 times before, Frank Versteeg. Frank, welcome. And the atmosphere down at the temporary runway, especially with this man, is electric.
Yeah, thank you very much, Nick. And people definitely are here to see their hero, Peter Begenet. And Peter had a very exciting week because he changed engine. And his engine arrived 24 hours before he actually had to fly it. And that means a lot of stress. And he even worked himself. He helped dismantling the old engine and putting on the new engine. And you can see the technicians are here working in the middle of the night to get everything prepared. And at the table you could see a half dismantled engine, a fantastic collection of spare parts.
But Paul Bonhomme is the man that everybody has to beat. 2 points ahead of Chambliss and Hannes Ark and 8 points ahead of Mike Mangold. And he's touched the gate! A nightmare!
Flying like a bloody idiot. Paul's going to pull out. To be honest, it was a bit of a relief, really, because the longer you're at the top, you know there's only one way, and that's down.
In comes the Top Gun fighter pilot, Mike Mangold. Oh, and the gate's down, and that's it. Mike Mangold's challenge in London is over.
Really, the burden falls on me. I mean, big mistake for me in London, hitting that pylon, and missed opportunity. It's going to be the telltale race of the season.
Coming in with great speed here, Hannes Ark. Oh, it's gone! Oh, no!
It was a mistake that could have been avoided easily. For the future, if I just focus and try to avoid those small mistakes, then it should be really good.
It's all down to the American Kirby Chambliss. London goes to Kirby.
You know, it was great. The thing there was just survival. I watched the other guys go out. I mean, I put out a pretty good time in knowing that they were going to try to do the same, and it didn't work out for them.
And the World Championship has just been thrown wide open.
Anybody in the top 4 or top 6 can suddenly have a bad day at the office, and then it throws it wide open again.
I just try to fly as fast as possible from race to race, and then we see at the end of the year.
If I can steal one, I'm a spoiler, and that's my job. That's what I'm going to try and do.
I'm going to go out there and try to take first and push as hard as I can. And like somebody opens up just a little bit, we could still end up with the championship.
Those hopes have been severely dented as the American failed to make the Super 8s. An incorrect knife edge in qualifying means the sun may have set on his championship dreams.
Not through to the Super 8s now. That must be pretty frustrating for you.
No, I'm jumping up for joy. No, hell yeah, it's frustrating, We were doing fairly well in the series, so that completely knocks us out. But I don't know, so is it frustrating? Yes.
A note of sarcasm from Kirby Chambliss, understandably so, but the pathway is now clear for Hannes Ark to narrow the gap in the chase for the championship title on Paul Bonhomme. Mike Mangold is the defending champion. He needs to get his season back on track here, but remember, he has won twice before in Budapest. This massive crowd on the banks of the Danube watching the .1 round. Kirby Chambliss went out there to possibly try and prove a point. He wanted to set a course record. Go out in style was the way he put it, but it was a different type of style that ended Kirby Chambliss's challenge for the 1 championship point, touching the gate and receiving a 10-second penalty, putting him down into 12th position.
Have a nice day.
So with Kirby picking up the 10-second penalty, who would take that one championship point? And for the second time this season, repeating his performance in Rotterdam, Sergei Rachmanin, the Russian pilot, picked up the fastest time in the .1 round to take his second championship point of 2008. Confirmation of the .1 round standings. Rachmanin ahead of Ivanov, Glendell, and the big disappointment, Kirby Chambliss fourth and in 12th position for today's race.
Best conditions so far in Budapest, 30 degrees, hardly any wind, and you can see clear blue skies. And there's flowing an awful lot of water through the Danube River, which crosses 10 countries from Germany to the Black Sea, and that actually caused a small problem because the limit to fly under the bridge, the clearance is 9.5 meters, but we had an increase of 3 meters in the last 48 hours, and that means that we have to start over the bridge instead of under. A difficult turning track, 17 gates, 6,700 meters, and a track record set by the leading champion Paul Bonhomme. Pilots have to descend over the bridge into the Breitling start gate for a steep right turn towards the Houses of Parliament, lining up themselves for the first pull-up, the half Cuban 8. More than 10 Gs we will see during the race. Descending again after the half Cuban, gate 6, the first right knife edge. Steep turn into gate number 8, and then 9 pull-up in front of the chain bridge. Descending again, gate number 10, left knife edge, steep turn, half Cuban 8, and then back home.
104.88, the course record has been set by Paul Bonhomme. Over the bridge, not under, for the 2008 edition here in Budapest. Mike Mangold. Well, this man hasn't won since he raced here in 2007. The defending champion, Mike Mangold, for the 2008 championship, is in 4th position, 18 points behind Paul Bonhomme. He really does need a win. It would be the 3rd time, if he could pull it off today, that he's won in Budapest. Very popular with the crowds here. And an identical split time. Nigel Lamb sets the pace at 107.72, but the first 3 pilots in this Super 8 round have all picked up at least one 3-second penalty. Back down the Danube. Second half Cuban maneuver now. And the advantage is there. 0.6 of a second, the green light telling us that Mike Mangold, the 2005 and 2007 Red Bull Air Race world champion, is the fastest man on the track so far. There's a great shot on board with the American pilot as he performs that knife edge through the Quadro. Still has the green light, but just by 0.02 of a second. And Mangold now just needs to stay focused. This is where Nigel Lamb just lost concentration momentarily. But here comes Mike Mangold, and Mangold takes top spot. 2.4 seconds, 105.32. Not quite the track record, but that's considerably quicker than he went in qualifying. And is that enough to put the 2007 world champion into the semi-finals?
32 seconds, first place.
We saw 11.1 Gs in Mike's flight, and after a recommendation, a legal recommendation from Eric Zivko, the manufacturer of the airplane, all planes pulling more than 10 Gs, the edges, have to be visually inspected. A big thing here in Budapest.
The standings at the halfway point of the Super 8s, Mike Mangold ahead of Nigel Lamb, McLean and Goulian, but Nigel Lamb bitterly disappointed with that 3-second penalty. It means you're very unlikely to make the semi-finals. Peter Begenet back at the temporary runway, the man that most of the hundreds of thousands of spectators and fans have come to see here in action, but will the ghost of home soil be upon him? Up in the sky is the British ace, Steve Jones, the winner here in 2006, one of the fastest men in training. He describes this track as very busy, but there is no question Budapest is a place that is very close to the heart of Steve Jones, and he would love to pull off a victory here in 2008. 105.32 is the target time, and coming in just shy of 360 kilometers per hour for his first pass to the track, now setting up the Edge 540 for his first of 3 half Cuban. 0.14 of a second slower than Mangold at this point. It's in the 2nd and 3rd pass where Steve Jones has been quick in training, and he needs that again here. Look for green, look for red. Oh, quite a lot of work to do for Steve Jones. Just under 0.7 of a second, slower than our current leader, Mike Mangold. Ford, no mistakes, remember. Mangold's performance was penalty-free. This is the last. Aerial maneuver. Now he starts to build. Can Steve Jones find just over half a second in this last pass now? 4 gates to go. 1:05.32 is the target time. Jones looking to get the better of Mike Mangold. It will be very close indeed. The clock ticks away, and Steve Jones has just missed it. Just missed it by half a second. Second position for the British pilots. Mangold still the fastest.
Steve Jones clearly building up speed, getting faster and faster. And we will see what he's going to perform here later today.
Back at the temporary runway, Hannes Ark getting a little bit of cooling there with his technician Vito Vijplechtinger. And Ark still to make his challenge in the Super 8. Next up is the man that most people have come to see in action, the Hungarian ace, Peter Bejenej. And of course, Peter looking to win on home soil for the first time in his career to date. And there, his last victory was in Monument Valley in the 2007 season, currently lying 5th in the World Championship standings. And you can already hear the crowds cheering and whistling him on. 1:05.32 is the target. A brand new engine for Peter Bejenej. His crowd, and particularly his technician, Tibor Negai, has worked so hard to prepare this Edge 40 with the new engine. And is it going to pay dividends? 0.14 off the pace for Bejenej. And a massive 11.9 Gs pulled in the first half Cuban 8 manoeuvre. And there is no question that Bejenej is really pushing hard here. Look for the green light. Still work to do. 0.78 off Mike Mangold. Third, his best result in Budapest back in 2004. But he has been in the top 3 World Championship rankings for the past 3 seasons. This is where he really does need to push it now. And it's close. 0.98 of a second. Good enough to go into 3rd position at this point for Bejenej. But this is where Steve Jones found a 10th or 2. And can the Hungarian ace do the same? 309 kilometers per hour. The speed heading for home. 1:05.32 is the target time to better. And Peter Bejenej is outside of Mangold. Peter Bejenej goes 3rd. 1.22 seconds slower than the leading American. Currently lying 3rd in the championship standings. He's been in the semi-finals 5 times this season. He has had a brilliant season, Hannes Ark. 4 podiums from 5 races. In comes Hannes Ark once again. 1:05.32. Mangold sets the pace. This is for Hannes Ark to book himself a spot in the semi-finals. As traditionally we've gotten used to this season, coming in with great speed, 366 kilometers per hour. And he has the green light early on. 10.8 Gs. Pulled against the body, half roll out, back down the track, heading towards the chain bridge once again. Second half Cuban, and the red light, 0.18, a little bit of work for Hannes Ark. We know he's got a very fast plane. Halfway through the season, the talk of the tarmac was this beautiful, streamlined new canopy that he created for his Edge 540. Now, this is the vital split time as he makes his last half Cuban. Up he goes, and there's the green light. 0.08 of a second, the right side of the clock for Hannes Ark. Now he just needs to keep it clean and keep the speed going through the final 4 gates. Hannes Ark looking to book himself a spot in the semi-finals, remember, 1:05.32, and the Austrian not only takes top position, but also takes the track record, 1:04.55, throws the gauntlet down to Bonham.
Number 28, Hannes, 1:04.55 seconds, first place.
The championship leader is next to fly. 3 wins from 5 rounds so far this season. But a nightmare in the last round of the Tour in London, England, in front of his home crowd, where he only managed 7th position. In comes Paul Bonhomme now. The new start-finish gate. And the clock stops ticking away. 104.55 is the target. 353 kilometers per hour, the entry speed for the British pilot. Setting himself up now for the first half-Cuban maneuver. 11 seconds is the target, and he's inside Hannes Ark. 0.13. The green light tells us that he's still the fastest man out there so far today. Back down the track, heading to the chain bridge. Knife edge maneuver through the quadro. 2 more horizontal gates. His second half-Cuban. Up he goes. The half roll brings him back into the track and back down once more. Still with the green light, and Paul Bonham's confidence looks to be restored. The last half-Cuban maneuver now. Oh, 1.18 is Mr. Bonham giving us a flying lesson out there today. Certainly rising to the challenge set by Hannes Ark. Just got to keep it penalty-free now as he goes through the last few gates. The target time, 104.55, and a new track record for Paul Bonham. A second quicker than Hannes Ark, 103.55. Bonham remains the favourite here in Budapest.
Very good flight of Paul Bonham, and in the slow-mo you can see the full deflection of his left aileron, and you can imagine what a drag that gives. Therefore, it's very important to fly clean.
So the results of the Super 8 sees 4 pilots go forwards. Bonham, Ark, Mangold and Steve Jones. And Steve Jones, perhaps the surprise to make the semis here today. Let's get the exact stats and breakdown. Who goes against who? As you can see there's the semi-finals. Jones will go against Bonham in an all-British semi. Mangold against Hannes Ark to cut them from 4 down to 2 to find our 9-point winner here today. So the all-British semi-final, Steve Jones goes up against Paul Bonham. Jones will fly first because Bonham, the quicker of the 2 pilots to make this semi-final. Steve Jones, as we said earlier, has won here before in Budapest. And as you can see from that statistic, he's getting faster every time he takes to the track down the River Danube here in Budapest. Lying 6th in the standings, on the podium just once this season. Many of you will remember round 4 of the Tour, Rotterdam, where Jones took 3rd position. But this is a place where he feels confident, and can he repeat that win of 2006? It will be a huge upset if Steve Jones knocks out Paul Bonham as he comes into the track. 357 kilometers per hour, now settling and preparing for the first of the 3 half-Cuban 8 maneuvers. 9.6 Gs he pulls, half roll out, back down the track, heading towards the chain bridge once again. Gate 7 is a knife edge maneuver through the quadro. And again needs to level the plane for his second half-Cuban. 8.7 Gs he pulls, half roll out again, back down the track. Now, Steve Jones, whose times from the early rounds do not count, a little high there on the exit of the quadro, but still just within the rules. Final half-Cuban, then he's 4 gates to take him back home. There you see him just turn the plane back into the track, horizontal once again. Coming through the last 4 gates at just over 300 kilometers per hour, looking to put the pressure on Paul Bonham, who goes next here in Budapest. And Steve Jones stops the clock, 106.36 seconds. Not as fast as his Super 8 round, but still a good performance.
A clean run of Steve Jones, but remarkably slower than his previous runs, and we'll have to see if it's fast enough for Bonham.
So Steve Jones sets the pace in the first of the 2 semi-finals at 106.36 seconds. If Paul Bonham can fly anything like he did in the Super 8 round, he should easily knock out his British counterpart. There you see the track record at 103.55. So Bonham, as long as he can stay penalty-free, should go through to the finals here. This is Paul Bonham looking to book himself a spot in the final of round 6 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. The river is too high, remember, so we have to go over, not under the bridge. In comes Bonham, must be penalty-free. Again, not the fastest entrance to the track for the British Championship leader. Just 360 kilometers per hour. Sets himself up nicely for the first half-Cuban maneuver with that half roll out to bring himself back down the track once again. And Paul Bonham has the first green light. There the knife edge maneuver through the quadro gate. Horizontal through gate 8. Again, a second half-Cuban maneuver. And 9/10 of a second, Paul Bonhomme looking smooth and confident once again. The nightmare of London in the last round of the Tour, now behind the championship leader. Oh, there's a judging on gate 7. Possibly we speak too soon. Oh, this could be the end of Bonham's chances of going through to the final. And it is there, a 3-second penalty. An incorrect knife-flying manoeuvre on gate 7 for Paul Bonhomme. And surely that means now he's out and he will not go through. Has Steve Jones done enough to see off the championship leader? 106.36, it's not there. Bonham goes out in the semis. Oh, more drama here in Budapest.
Number 19, Steve, 1 minute 06.36 seconds, no penalties. Number 2, Paul, 1 minute 08.79 seconds, 3 seconds penalty, incorrect knife, gate 7, and Jones goes to the finals.
Hey, well done. Sorry about that, Paul, but I'm next time. Now, I made a bit of a boo-boo on one of the gates. Never mind, good luck in the final. Thanks so much, bad time.
Paul Bonhomme lining up in the left turn for the right knife edge, and we see, yep, very clearly he is turning in the gate of this quadro, causing 3 penalty points. Not easy to see from behind, but he is definitely rolling in the gate. But let's have a look, or maybe he has to comment on it himself.
Paul Bonham, do you know where you went wrong?
Yes,
Gate 7, talk us through it.
rolled out too early. I knew as soon as I'd done it, but there you go, these things happen.
Mangold is the first one to fly. And let's take a look at the statistics. Head-to-heads in their career today, 2-all. Very interesting indeed. But World Championship standing, Hannes Ark is lying third in the championship to Mangold's fourth. 9 career wins for Mike Mangold. No career wins for Hannes Ark. Perhaps that's the most important of all the graphics on that head-to-head stat, because Mangold has experience on his side. 9 times he's won. He's also won here in Budapest twice before.
Number 1, Mike, you are cleared into the track. Smoke on.
Smoke on, clear to the track, number 1, Mike.
Getting faster throughout the week and throughout the day. Can Mike Mangold get into the final and potentially win his first event of the 2008 season? In goes Mangold, clock starts ticking away. 361 kilometers per hour, his entry speed into the track. Coming into gates 4 and 5 to set himself up for the first half Cuban. Inverted maneuver with the half rollout to bring the American back down the track once again. 10.4 Gs, heading to gate 6. Knife edge through the quadro. Now start to prepare for the second half Cuban. Got to be very, very precise and clean. The stewards and the judging has been so accurate here in Budapest. Up to 200 and 313 coming back down the course now, Mangold. As we said earlier, he's won here twice before. He knows what it's all about. It was the last time in his career to date that he won here in Budapest. 48.62, it's a good fast run. 105.32 was his Super 8 time, and he's looking to be faster than that. He's heading home, 3 gates to take in. Must keep the focus and concentration right to the end of the challenge, as Mike Mangold, not as quick as a Super 8, but penalty-free, and sets a time for Hannes Ark to beat of 107.11.
Number 1, Mike, you are cleared into hole 3.
Hole 3, number 1, Mike.
An interesting run from Mike Mangold, descending here a little bit. And his time was remarkably slower than he put on the clock in the Super 8. And we saw 10-point Gs here, so again an inspection for Mike Mangold's Edge 540.
There is the target for Hannes Ark to beat, to book himself a spot in the final here in Budapest, round 6 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. Look at the times he's been putting in. 104.98, 104.55. There's only one pilot who has gone quicker than that, and he's been knocked out in the semis. Very confident, incredible focus, and showing maturity in the semi-final, I felt. In the Super 8 round, I should say. Now, this is Hannes Ark in the semi-final. Into gate 3, horizontal. 4 now preparing for the first half Cuban maneuver. And up Up he goes, and he's got the green light. Already over 0.3 of a second faster than Mike Mangold, and at 11.4 Gs he pulls. Back down the track, heading towards the chain bridge once again. There's no room for error. 28.47 is the target time, and he's still the right side of the clock. Look at the margin. The green says 1.2 seconds and 9.8 Gs in that second half. And this is where he needs to be careful. Gate 11 and 7 have been problematic. And he's really pushing it very hard indeed here, right on the edge of his game, Hannes Ark. But look at the advantage, huge, 2.12 seconds. Hannes Ark now just needs 4 gates cleanly with no penalties, and he will go through to meet Steve Jones in the final of round 6. And Hannes Ark surely has done it. 107.11 is shattered by Hannes Ark. 103.34, it's the track record, and on to the final for the Austrian.
Number 1, Mike, 1 minute 07.11 seconds, no penalties. Number 28, Hannes, 1 minute 03.34 seconds, no penalties. Hannes goes to the finals.
A very good time for Hannes Ark. And oops, as we see here, Hannes, and that's basically the only pilot every now and then kicks his rudder and descends like hell. But look at the sector times, all the 4 sectors definitely faster than Mike Mangold.
Fastest time today, 103.34. Do you think you could go any faster?
No, I think that would be stupid. I just try to do a safe run and then we'll see.
Up against Steve Jones next. Do you think he's going to be tough competition for you?
It's always tough to be in the final, I think.
And here we see the stressy situation at the airport caused by the letter of the Zivco aircraft factory.
I'm too busy. We got to do some mandatory inspection. All I can do is get in there, help my technicians take the cowling off. I got to be back in the air in 5 minutes. We got to do a 15-minute inspection. Somehow it doesn't add up.
Not the kind of preparation any athlete or pilot needs going into the next round.
Analysis between Mike Mangold and Hannes Ark. Let's have a close look. Here you already could see Hannes' Ark plane is accelerating faster. They have almost identical lines in the half Cuban, and then Hannes is accelerating away from Mike Mangold.
So almost finished for Mike Mangold, and also Paul Bonhomme, Frank, having a few problems with his plane before he gets going for this 3rd place fly-off.
Well, it's a typical hot start, vapor locking the engine, blowing too much fuel in the lines, and that's caused by hot starts. It often happens, not a big problem, but the technical steward is there, and right after the inspection they can send the airplane back into the sky.
And a quick reminder, there's a lot more action and information at redbullairrace.com, a real must. On board with Paul Bonhomme. Unable to get his 4th win here in Budapest, but he must salvage a podium performance. He's come in the fastest we've seen him pretty much all day, over 357 kilometers per hour. Now, half Cuban, 11.4 as he makes that roll out back into the course once again. Must be penalty free in this duel with Mike Mangold for 3rd position. And 27.24. Second half Cuban back down the River Danube again. On the right of your screens, the Parliament buildings here in Budapest. There's the knife edge maneuver through the Quadro. Sets himself up now for the half Cuban. Up and around, rolls out. Now 4 more gates to take in, and he sets the target. He already has the track record. It doesn't look to be quicker than that. But here he comes to set the pace for Mike Mangold to better. And Paul Bonhomme is fast again, 104.02. And that will take some beating, I have to say.
Paul Bonhomme flying a little bit slower than he did before. And we'll still have to see if it's enough to bring him on the podium.
Paul Bonham sets a target of 1:04.02, and Mangold has to beat it. 9 times he's climbed to the top of the podium, but for today, can he make it? His 3rd podium of the season. In comes Mangold, looking to deny Paul Bonham and also help out Hannes Ark here. 10.89 is the first split target as he levels the edge 540 for the half Cuban. Oh, it's very close indeed. 9.1 Gs and just 0.05 of a second off the pace of Paul Bonham from Mike Mangold. Back down the track towards the chain bridge. Knife edge manoeuvre through the quadro. Once again setting himself up for the second half Cuban. Oh, 0.66 now. Still very, very tight between the two. Now, looking to find and build a little bit of speed now. One more half Cuban, then 4 gates back home to stop the clock. And he's got work to do, Mike Mangold. Needs to find over 0.8 of a second. If Mangold is to climb onto the podium here in Budapest, will it be 3rd or will it be 4th? Here he comes now, 1:04.02 is the target time. Mike Mangold really pushing it towards the end of the challenge. It's not enough. Mangold goes 4th, Paul Bonham goes 3rd. It is 7 championship points for Bonham and just 6 for Mangold.
Number 2 Paul, 1:04.02 seconds, no penalties. Number 1 Mike, 1:05.39 seconds, no penalties, and Paul has the 3rd place.
Thank you very much. That one's for Jim Beasley, who can't be here to watch.
A very nice slow-mo picture at full left aileron deflection. Helped him by the spades to reduce the forces. And let's have a look at the analysis. Paul Bonham against Mike Mangold. And we have to realize that Paul has been flying faster all runs than Mike Mangold. And here we clearly see the difference in angles, which is giving Bonham more speed when he exits the half Cuban. Now into the quadro. Very nice, clean right knife edge.
Well, Steve Jones back at the temporary runway preparing for his final clash with Hannes Ark. The atmosphere electric. 2 pilots still searching for their first win of the season. Will it be the Austrian who's trying to stay calm and cool there in the plane, or will it be the British pilot? Steve Jones has won here before. Hannes Ark has been on the podium and in runner-up position 3 times this season as Austria goes up against Britain. Let's take a look at the head-to-head statistic. Well, Korea's, it's 1-0 to Hannes Ark against Steve Jones. Again, we see the World Championship ranking. World rank 3 to World rank 6. Finals. 3 times Hannes Ark has been in a final. Steve Jones just 1. So, once again, even though 12 months ago Hannes Ark was the rookie here in Budapest, he's now starting to look like the more accomplished pilot with the statistics in his favour.
Steve, you are cleared into the track. Smoke on.
Into the track, smoke on, 19.6.
Well, again, as we saw in London, by flying with no penalties has been the pathway for Steve Jones to this final. As we said earlier, he's won here in Budapest before. He's no stranger to climbing to the top of the podium on the banks of the River Danube. That was in 2006. His best result this season came in round 4 of the Tour in Rotterdam, 3rd there. So no matter what the outcome of today, Steve Jones is on track for a personal best for the 2008 championship season. But can he deny Hannes Ark his first win of his career? 11.29 is the first split target time and 10.4 Gs. There's the roll out of the Cuban and back down the track towards the chain bridge. Knife edge manoeuvre through the quadro. Little wide in the angles there, it looked from this perspective. There's the second half Cuban of 3 to be performed, remember, to get him back going down the track once again. Gate 10. On board with the pilots, we see him again through that quadro. Right at the far end of this 6.7 kilometre track now. Last 4 gates, Steve Jones, it's another clean performance. And as we said, that's what's kept him in the chase for the points here today. Looking to be penalty-free, that's been the name of the game for Jones all day long. Heading to stop the clock now, looking to improve on 105 and 106.79. Well, actually, that's the slowest time we've seen from Steve Jones. The pressure of the final telling, but is that enough to give him the win? Penalty-free performance once again from Steve Jones. It's a knockout basis. Hannes Ark has to go faster than 106.79 seconds. He's done it, hasn't he? All day long. 104.98, 104.55, 103.34. But he must stay penalty-free just once more. Back at his hangar, they're holding their breath. Lying third in the championship, 2 points adrift of Paul Bonham for the 2008 title, 3 times the runner-up. But can Hannes Ark make it either 4 times the runner-up or record his first career victory here in Budapest? Sets himself up over the chain bridge. The clock starts ticking through the Breitling start-finish gate. In comes Ark. Gate 1, no problems at all. Into 3 now. And 11.29 is the target time. Sets himself up for the first half Cuban, and the green light is there. 0.34 of a second. So far, so good. And a huge 11.6 Gs pulled against the Austrian pilot in that first half Cuban maneuver. Nice knife edge through the quadro. Again, clean and horizontal. Second half Cuban. And still the green light. 0.95 of a second. You can hear the crowd cheering. Through the halfway point, now. There's the knife edge again, and he looks to have found a rhythm here, Hannes Ark. He really has got the focus, and his first win of his career is drawing closer and closer. 4 gates to take in, and Hannes Ark will not only take his first career win, he will tie with Paul Bonham at the top of the championship. Surely it's there. Horizontal through the blue. 106.79, and he's done it! Hannes Ark has recorded his first win on the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. And he also goes up to 45 points with Paul Bonham in the chase for the title.
Seconds, no penalties. Number 28, Hannes, 1 minute 04.19 seconds, no penalties. And Hannes is the winner of the Red Bull Air Race in Budapest. Congratulations from the tower.
He's finally done it.
Yeah, thank you Budapest, thank you Austria, to all my friends. I really enjoyed, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah, last race he said, my time will come, and this is it, his time has come. And he definitely mentally matured, and he made no big mistakes, and that's what's all about air racing. If you don't make big mistakes and you still fly fast, you're on the podium. And I must say, it's very good to see Hannes Ark from Austria and his team delighted, cheering and happy. And I see people jumping, not only in the public, but even at the high flyers lounge. The VIPs are jumping over here. And here Hannes comes taxiing back at Tuchel Airport.
Steve Jones has taken runner-up position. It's his personal best, his best result of the season to date. He must be happy because there was no way he was going to stop this man. The celebrations begin for the Austrian team. Hannes Ark elated, and understandably so.
And here we have the analysis of the finals. Hannes Ark against Steve Jones. Identical lines in the half Cuban. Good tight turn, straight into the quadro, and there he is accelerating away.
Congratulations, not only your first in Budapest, but the first ever in the Red Bull Air Race for you.
Absolutely, I mean, I'm more than happy. I don't know if it's tears or if I'm sweating. I'm just happy, I don't know what more to say. It's just great.
Must be a very emotional day for you. On the same points now as Paul Bonham, both got 45, so there's a good chance for the championship. What else can you do?
I just go for my runs, every run, and we'll see at the end of the year. I don't want to think about the championship. I'm so happy now, I want to celebrate.
Steve Jones, that was actually your slowest time today. Were you trying to take it easy and do a safe one against Hannes?
No, not really. I think, I was trying some different lines and things to see if they would work, but they didn't really, and I just couldn't quite get the energy up at the beginning, and I was sort of losing it as the lap went on. So, yeah, shame really, but his blistering times old Hannes was setting. I knew it was always going to be a struggle to make.
I am just happy.
Well, these are the two pilots that now tie on 45 points in the chase for the World Championship of 2008. Paul Bonham still hasn't won here in Budapest. Here's confirmation of the final result. What a day for Hannes Ark. Steve Jones, the runner-up. Bonham can only manage third. Mangold, Begenet, Lamb, McLean, and Michael Goulian down in 8th position, taking 2 championship points. 1 point goes to Rachmanin, and the big surprise here in Budapest, Kirby Chambliss down in 12th, probably throwing away his chances of the 2008 World Championship title. Hannes Ark absolutely delighted. 12 months ago, he was a rookie on the tour, could only manage 10th in Budapest, but my oh my, has this young pilot come of age to take his first win of his career in great style. He throws the gauntlet down to Paul Bonham, who has to settle for 3rd position as both pilots move on to Portugal to battle it out for the championship title. And Steve Jones, the winner here in 2006, happy with his runner-up spot, but it is the Austrian Hannes Ark that is the man of the day, the man of round 6, and takes the 9 championship points and the traditional champagne celebration. Well, most of the fans had come to see Begenet, but they will not deny Hannes Ark here today. The championship title starts to really get hot now, as both Bonham and Hannes Ark tie with 45 points. Chambliss now 9 points adrift in 3rd, as is Mike Mangold in 4th position. It will be Bonham and Hannes Ark that battle it out in Portugal for round 7 of the tour, and I feel we could go all the way to Perth, the final of the season, before the championship is decided. We'll be back next on September the 7th in Porto, Portugal. Until then, from Frank Versteeg and Nick Fellows, it's goodbye from Budapest.